Imagine being in full control of a massive planetary defense cannon. The power that goes along with such a thing, along with the opportunities, would be significant indeed, but it would also present a lot of moral dilemmas. That then sums up this new upcoming game, PVKK. There's a German word for it, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce it, but it means a Planetary Defense Cannon Commander. So there was a bunch of footage made available for this a little while ago, a trailer as well alongside that, and I've really only just got around to having a really close look at it, and I'm very surprised at what we're seeing here. It does look like it's going to be a rather intriguing game. Not only does there look to be a huge amount of depth to the control system, but you'll also have to maintain the cannon itself in the event of failures, and that means, well, working some of the units here, changing fuses, and likely other things as well. To keep things interesting, not only are you defending the planet from aliens, but it also appears that you work for an authoritarian regime. What's more, the bunker in which you work also appears to be your home, where you're permanently stationed and, well, you have to sleep there to boot. If all of this isn't enough though, there seems to be some deeper mysteries at play as well, some very strange things going on. And whilst the character in this clip doesn't seem to want to travel, that doesn't mean you won't want to travel. And this is where today's sponsor comes in, Exeter, who can certainly help out if you want to travel when it comes to carrying those essentials. Whenever I'm out exploring, whether hiking in the North York Moors or travelling through different UK cities, keeping track of my essentials is key. That's why I'm using the Exeter Finder card and the leather Parliament wallet. The Finder card is perfect for my on-the-go lifestyle. It's sleek, rechargeable tracking device that connects to the Apple Find My app. If I misplace my wallet, I can ring it right from my phone or check where I last left it on a map, which really is a lifesaver when I'm moving around a lot. The Parliament wallet helps me keep organised. With the quick access trigger, I can reach my cards instantly, and they hold up to 12 cards in cash with RFID protection. And if you prefer your wallets to have a more solid metallic feel, then the Card Holder Pro is a great option. Both these wallets are made from sustainable, high quality materials, so they're built to last. Right now, Exeter's Black Friday sale is on. Use my code ObsidianAnt for up to 55% off. Check out the link in the video description. It seems then in PVKK not everything is as it seems. Just look at this message. Do not shoot down ship 1453, it's no threat, despite what they may tell you. Don't listen to what they try and tell you. They, I assume, being the authoritarian regime that keeps giving you messages over the TV set. Case in point, here is the regime given the latest and current mission. Now, one thing I'm really liking about the appearance of this game is the somewhat quirky style of it. So quite obviously, it's got somewhat of a 70s and 80s aesthetic here going on. Meanwhile, the rest of the environment, the rest of the bunker, has a retro-futuristic look. Clearly this has a lot of 80s design to it, but also draws on some elements from the 60s and maybe a few decades before as well. Bit of a mixture here then to give a somewhat convincing look of an alternate and very different type of future. Interacting with the bunker itself looks very intriguing, with everything being hands-on and completely manual. Nothing done through menus here. Instead, everything you do is done by interacting directly with the control panels. Now obviously, the character, the player here, whoever is playing, has decided not to attack ship 1453. So that suggests there are some options here for the player. It's not 100% linear, and that there's a divergent narrative going on where you can choose branching pathways. And you do see this has an impact later on in this particular playthrough, where the character who's given you the missions over the TV says to you, well, accuses this person, but implies that they may be up to no good by not attacking that ship that slipped through the defences. They also get somewhat upset that the player missed the target, therefore wasting some ammunition.
Commander, you protected your facility as you were expected to. You must understand, though, that the ammunitions you wasted are a setback to our efforts.
So yeah, it's clear she's not at all happy. Now there is another element here. Look at the way this footage jumps around. It's obviously spliced together, which makes me wonder whether or not this is actually really happening, or whether something else is going on, and like I say, a far deeper mystery. Is this person really working for this regime, or are they being somehow manipulated? This theory is then underscored by the bosses insisting that you drink your daily dose of tea, which at this point the character's refusing to, and yeah, they can't get out of the bunker. Additionally, earlier on I was wondering where this character goes to the bathroom. They seem to have everything here except for a bathroom, but yes, they do have a water closet, although that too appears to be locked. So yeah, they are in full control, so I guess the only solution is to drink that tea. Now, without having hands-on with the game just yet, it is relatively hard to judge how it actually plays in terms of these controls that we can see in action. So most everything is certainly mechanical in nature. There's a lot of dials here, a lot of levers, a lot of switches and all that lot. No touch screens or holograms or anything of that nature. After all, again, this is retro-futuristic. It does ultimately still require the player to have some sense of what they need to do, and this may not be immediately straightforward. There's a lot of targets here, many of them are way off into the distance. The person here is targeting some spy balloons at the moment, and what makes this interesting to me is the level of detail and the type of information that would be needed for the target requirements. Now, no expert in this, but artillery, typically from the older periods, let's assume this is a retro future, so full-on computer targeting isn't there. A lot of it's got to be done manually. There'd need to be quite a few different elements that need to be plugged in. This would include elevation for the angle of fire, things such as the azimuth, which is the direction of fire. This would be the horizontal angle or compass direction in which the cannon needs to be pointed. You then need to program in the range, which is the distance to target. We'd also have to think about the propellant charge. So that's the amount of propellant powder in the cartridge, which would directly impact the projectile's velocity and the range as well. Now, there doesn't seem to be any information on that required on the various different terminals here, but certainly the first three. We then have projectile type, and from the playthrough it does seem that the bunker, that the cannon can be upgraded. Seems possible, very likely in fact, that the projectiles could be upgraded. There's a lot of other things to include here. Windage as well, wind correlation or deflection if they might be needed. Temperature and atmospheric pressure maybe. It seems a little bit excessive perhaps for the game, and a lot of other things as well. Ultimately, the point I'm trying to make here is that the game, PVKK, does seem to be including a decent amount of realism in the overall targeting, judging by the controls that need to be used. Just how much they've gone in terms of complexity, or how much complexity is required beyond what we've seen here. Remember, this is just a playthrough from what appears to be the initial section of the games. All of that remains to be seen, but one thing I do like is the overall vibe of this game. And that includes the aesthetics as well as the mechanics and gameplay loops as well. Very curious to see where this goes. And very obviously there are some hidden mysteries here as well. Things don't seem to be quite what they are, or what they seem to be on the surface. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below, and my thanks again to Exeter for sponsoring this video. Do check out that link in the video description.